You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Deala T. And this is No Filter. Always appreciate you hit like button for me. Subscribing to the channel so you don't miss an episode and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, get comfortable. Get you something to eat. Get you something to drink. Get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Cause you see the title, fam. Woo. I did not see this one coming. But if we listen to what mother Nolan Wells, mother and Nolan Wells' father said, you would have already seen this coming. Let's get into this here.
Anthony's mother and father lost him to prison. In this case, Nolan Wells' mother and father lost him because he was unalive. People are saying that Nolan Wells was allegedly burned and possibly tortured. What did his parents want? They just wanted to know what happened to their son.
What happened? And why our baby didn't come home?
We have the honor and the privilege of helping to lead an independent investigation on behalf of the family of Nolan Wells. Why do you say we need to be retained to lead an independent investigation? It is because the family has distrust of the Mississippi law enforcement officials giving them a fair investigation where their black son ended up dead after going out on a boat with 3 young white men. This is something that they don't just read about in books, but lived experience for many Black Americans.
He was a special kid, but again, just heart was so big. And we're gonna miss him dearly. We just want to know. We want an honest, thorough investigation. That's all we're asking for.
Parents asked for an honest and thorough investigation. Again, guys, we're not conspiracy theorists. What you feel in your heart about this Nolan Wells case, you're pretty accurate. Now, this video has been circulating that I'm going to bring up. And what they're saying is they know people in the field as it relates to transporting bodies. And information was leaked that Nolan Wells, I'm gonna say allegedly because this hasn't been confirmed, okay? Allegedly, his body had been burned, he was mistreated and possibly tortured. Let's get into it.
Today. So today, we actually know someone that works transporting bodies, remains, and things like that. So today I got a call from that person and they were just talking about the body that they
Nolan Wells.
So before they know all that, he said that the body was mistreated. It looked abused, it looked like he was tortured. Looked as if he was burnt maybe.
Where?
Face, body, said he was burnt.
And not only that, his body was mistreated when they transported him.
So as they were transporting him, he was actually face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting the body, you know, only a couple of people work that job. They all know you don't transport the body face down. It's kind of very disrespectful. So you always have them face up. Well, specifically his body whatever reason, was face down. And me personally, I took that as disrespect. Heart goes out to the family.
Yes, definitely.
Because all we know is what they put out
on the internet.
But today, we actually found out a lot about his autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
I'm so sorry that family had to go through this. Really just...
I want to give our condolences to the family. You know, that's a mom or moms,
grandmothers,
dads, just family, period. You know, just we give the most prayers to you, and we stand behind you because we know
right,
what really happened.
right. So,
And at the end of the day, whatever lies those families have covered up, or whatever lies they're trying to cover, we're sorry.
yeah.
And we're here for you. And we just want you to know that what was seen today
Was unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and that's why we want to inform
so
what's going on during the transport, like
it's
that.
not something you can be quiet on.
At all.
When you see something so heartbreaking as a child, you know, go through something traumatic.
Pretty girl Pink in the building.
It
Julie in the
hurts
building.
to know that that was done to him in the ways that we can't even express.
Right.
And as a person, you should have some type of humanity.
Right.
And I felt like those people who was transporting him did not have humanity in no way, shape, or form. Because if I can feel the way I feel about the situation, just listening to what happened, you also can listen to what happened to this child.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that is a child that you did that to.
Right.
So this child needs justice.
Justice.
Because we're not going to sleep
At
until
all.
he gets it.
At all. And I heard the feds are in Mississippi right now, so justice for Nolan Wells.
No matter what.
Our heart goes out to his mom, his family, everybody.
And just know, families, we're coming for you.
Yeah. Let's talk about Nolan Wells.
So here's the deal, guys. That was really hard to even listen to. Like, my heart is, you know, as well goes out. Like, this is terrible. I mean, it is so wrong, but we still have to talk about it, because if we remain quiet, you know, it's like we are actually helping them. So, as I have been saying over the last few days, now that we're getting closer to Nolan Wells' funeral, it's gonna be all over social media what his body looked like. And y'all, like, you know, brace yourselves. If y'all remember Emmett Till's funeral, his mother took a picture and she put it all out because she wanted everybody to know what those nasty people had done to her son. If Emmett Till's mother would have not put that picture out, we would never have known. The reason why I want you guys to make sure you are mentally ready, I feel like this is history repeating itself. And I tiptoed around this, but now, you know, and that it's Wednesday, next Monday will be a funeral, okay? They are saying that Nolan Wells' body and his face, well, I'm sorry, don't let me put words in their mouths. I believe they specifically mentioned his face. You guys recall, I said the fact that he needs to be identified from the dental records, guys, nobody is being identified from dental records unless they are unrecognizable. So tell me, the story was, I do believe that he stayed, and when I say the story, I do believe, I'm saying the lie, the story that they all came up with, because based on everything that I saw, this is a replay of Carmelo Anthony. The friends say that they were the friends, now coming out, yeah, I don't buy it. I mean, just like I didn't buy the shit in the Carmelo Anthony case, and now it's coming out that, you know, they hid evidence to protect white racist bullies, okay? Not in this particular case. The family has not saw the body. That's strategic. But again, there's gonna be a funeral here on Monday. They say that the body was burned and mistreated. And when they say mistreated, they're just not getting into it. For someone to say a body was mistreated, there has to be clear physical evidence of damage to the face or the body. We have not heard this before, people. So brace yourselves for Monday. I expect photos to be all over social media because I don't anticipate that the mother is going to not share those photos. She would need to share those because we can't keep this a secret. Nolan Wells allegedly burned and tortured and mistreated. They even go as far as to say that his body was disrespected during the transportation. Listen, I have not been to coroner school. I don't know nothing about the profession, but I know you don't place a person that's dead or alive on their face, okay? Because if it was a person who, needed help with moving and you put them on their face, then now you just gave them a bigger problem. You don't place anybody on unless they're alive and they say, can you roll me on my face? I like to sleep like that. But the fact that he was placed on his face, as they stated, he was disrespected and then allegedly burned and tortured.
So today, we actually know someone that works transporting bodies, human remains, and things like that. So today I got a call from that person, and they were just talking about the body that they came across.
So Nolan Wells.
So before knowing all that, he said that the body was mistreated.
Yeah.
It looked abused. It looked like he was tortured.
It looked abused, he was tortured. You tell me, how many people have you saw and you say, oh, you look like he was tortured? For somebody to use those type of words, torture is extreme. If I were to look into just go to the dictionary and look up the word torture. Torture generally means subjected to extreme physical or mental anguish. Well, we know it's physical because nobody knows what's in the head, especially of a deceased person. Torment or severe distortion. The term originates from the Latin word torcor, whatever. So basically, it means both literal and figurative context to describe pain, difficult circumstances, or objects. He was tortured.
As if he was burnt, maybe.
As if he was burnt. So that means that there is some serious discoloration on his skin, scabbing, which would indicate some kind of burning. What happened to Nolan Wells? This doesn't add up, and let's be honest, the friend stories don't add up, okay? None of it adds up. We have everybody speaking out to try to bring justification to some bullshit when we haven't heard the first three boys who have now went and obtained attorneys. Their man judges speaking out, which is things like intimidating witnesses. Now we're working out that Nolan Wells was let burn and
Where? Face, body, say he was burnt.
face, body, they say he was burned. So y'all, this gets even a little bit, because not only his face, his body. So what happened to him? Like his clothes were like, what? His face, his body would indicate this is face, this is body. So if they remove his clothes, these people are sick.
And not only that, his body was mistreated when they transported him.
So as they were transporting him, he was actually face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting a body, only a couple of people work that job, they all know you don't transport the body face down. It's kind of very disrespectful. So you always have them face up. Well, specifically his body whatever reason, was face down. And me personally, I took that as disrespect.
Yeah.
Heart goes out to the family.
Yes, definitely.
Because all we know is what they put out
on the internet.
But today, we actually found out a lot about his autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
I'm so sorry that family had to go through this. Really just.
I want to give our condolences to the family. That's a mom or moms,
grandmothers,
dads, family.
Period.
You know, just we give the most prayers to you, and we stand behind you because we know
Right, right,
what really happened.
right.
And at the end of the day, whatever lies those families have covered up, or whatever lies they're trying to cover, we're sorry.
Yeah.
And we're here for you. And we just want you to know that what was seen today
Was unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And that's why we want to inform
so
what's
it's
going on during the transport, like that.
something you can be quiet on.
At all.
When you've seen something so heartbreaking as a child, you know, go through something traumatic.
Traumatic. Yes.
It hurts to know that that was done to him in the ways that we can't even express.
Right.
As a person, you should have some type of humanity.
Right.
And I felt like those people who was transporting him did not have humanity in no way, shape, or form. Because if I can feel the way I feel about the situation, just listening to what happened, you also can listen to what happened to this child.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that is a child that you did that to.
Right.
So this child needs justice.
Justice.
Because
Justice.
we're not going to sleep
At
until
all.
he gets here.
At all. And I heard the feds are in Mississippi right now, so justice for Nolan Wells.
No matter what.
Our heart goes out to his mom, his family, everybody.
And just know, families, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
Same situation, guys. Carmelo Anthony was a child. These people do not see our children as children. This is traumatic. Again, I don't know if this is true, but what we know is that the parents have not identified the body, but they did identify the body using dental records. Now, we don't need people to tell us everything. That right there indicates that there was some kind of damage strictly to his face, because to be able to identify someone, you need to be able to see their face. But the fact that they did not or were not able to do that and utilize dental records says that something unrecognizable took place to the facial features of Nolan Wells.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down.
Hit that like button, double tap that screen. You in here with your boy Deala T. Don't forget to hit that like button, double tap that screen. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. And share this with the world. And of course, family, make sure you're comfortable. Now check this out. What we're looking at right now is new update, new information, new everything. Supposedly, Nolan Wells' body was allegedly tortured, beat up, and burned. Okay? So what you have here now is, it's even worse for Andrew, Evan, Wyatt, and Warren. Okay? Because this makes sense, because the mother and them said that they had to identify his body through his dental records. Let me say that again for the people in the back that didn't know, or was told and we didn't think it is. But it was said, and she said that they had to identify this man's body through dental records, okay? So what that says is, clearly we can't see the body. We can't identify the body because the body is unidentified. And there's a couple reasons, couple ways you can unidentify a body. One, burning. You understand what I'm saying? That's a big way to not identify nothing. And to see, a burned body is different with flesh and all of that, because your bone, gums, and all of that would still find themselves burned, but they still would be able to identify some things about your teeth, because your teeth is sitting there in the ashes. Things like that, okay? So what we're looking at here, fam, is like, that would make sense about them saying they had to identify Nolan Wells through his dental records. My thing is, if this man's body was burned, and if he was put out there like that, right? That means that the mom and daddy knew that. And yet they still doing interviews saying that they want to know what happened. But you all clearly know that this man has been burned because you had to identify him through his dental My point is, why haven't they just said that? Y'all want to know how this was done and who did this to him. That makes sense. But y'all know how he was unalive. And that's what's kind of got me shocked right now, because it's like, y'all got all these stories and people putting out all these different narratives, but yet the mother and father had to identify this man through his dental record. So that means that you all knew his body has been burned, or his body has been decapitated. His body has been something. You all know. But the thing is, you want the investigation to find out who did it and what they really did to him. Okay, let me say that. We got to make it make sense, fam. I want to know, why didn't the mother and daddy just come out and say, hey, listen, our son has passed away. He was unalive. And his body was burned. And we want to know who did this to our son. See, that would make more sense. But right now, they've been running around with these narratives as if they don't know what happened to his body, but yet y'all had to identify him through his dental records. If y'all had to identify him through his dental records, then y'all already know what happened to his body. What are we talking about here? See, that's some janky shit. Nolan Wells' parents, that's some janky, fam. You can't be out here on some ignorance, but yet you know what's going on, but yet you feeding us little bitty pieces of what's going on. And now we get this narrative that this man's body has been tortured and burned, allegedly. But yet y'all had to identify him through his dental records. If you can't identify this man by just looking at him and saying this is him, then something was done to the body, overwhelmingly on another level. So if that's the case, I just want to know why mom and daddy ain't just come out and say, hey, listen, man, they burned our son. They set this man's body on fire. What happened that made this happen? Because now, if that was the case, that means kids did something, people trying to cover it up, and they trying to burn the evidence and every part of the evidence. That means he was beat up. That means he was possibly tortured. Because now you trying to hide the bruises, the torturing from the bruises, blood, any DNA that says Wyatt, Warren, Evan, Andrew was involved on that man. Or anything burning the body that's saying, hey, parents or adults was involved with this situation. And then what else really kills me too is something I've been thinking in the back of my mind. Stop me if I'm tripping. You have these people that worship things we don't worship. You have people that's in different demonic places in their mentality and how they look at things and how they do and operate. You have people that do rituals, demonic standings, and you have people that do and cast spells. Don't put it past nobody. If them people was involved with that type of world, and they all was in on doing him like that because of what they believe in and what they chose to do and use somebody for some sacrificial benefits. You better hear me, whoop, whoop. Because this just ain't making no sense. We can't figure out what this man was on the island. The picture of the pool party was done weeks before. So somebody put that out there for some dumb narrative that got us all looking stupid. And then all of a sudden, you're telling me that this man was burned alive or burned on fire, torched up, but the fact that he was identified by his dental records. I just want to know why they mamas ain't never said that. I just want to know why is that something that was held from us if y'all had to identify him through his dental records. Because if that's the case, then we know something has been done to his body to where they can't identify him by just looking at him. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. We're going to get to the bottom of it regardless. Because at the end of the day, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. And people can't play with that because it's going to come into shape.
Good morning. I'm attorney Ben Crump, along with attorney Lisa Park, attorney Eric Harris, Justin Preston, and Cliff Jones. We have the honor of representing the family of Nolan Wells. We have present with us his mother and father, Christine and Elmore. We've just had an opportunity to meet with District Attorney Angel McIlrath and some members of her team. We had a very respectful meeting. The thing I assume some of you may know, the thing to announce, she shared with the family that there will be a grand jury that she will turn this case over to once they have collected all the information and finished their investigation. We also agreed that we will have a mutual inspection of the cell phone with our experts and their experts. Attorney Eric Hertz is helping lead the investigation team with former law enforcement experts who are going to help us with the cell phone download. So everybody will be able to see at the same time what the cell phone has.
Nolan in the building.
We also talked about trying to make sure we dot every I and cross every T. I know that we're getting about 50 calls a day to 100 calls a day from people who were there on Horn Island, people who are familiar with individuals that were there on Horn Island. And so we continue to be steadfast in trying to get to the truth of why Nolan Wells is dead. At this time, we'll have Attorney Hertz say a few words, and then Christine and Elmore will just talk about the homegoing services and celebration for Nolan, and then we'll take a few of your questions. Attorney Eric Hertz.
Thank you. Right now, there's a lot of unanswered questions. We appreciate the district attorney meeting with us, but because of certain types of confidentiality that even the victims are not allowed to know, we did not get all the answers we want. We have an independent investigation going on that involves former law enforcement, federal agents that are going to be looking into all the different information we got. The calls are coming in and we're getting a lot of information. Some of the people that I spoke to are not talking with the law enforcement here. We're going to be trying to get them to cooperate with each other because we want to make sure the narrative, which has been put out that is false, is going to be corrected. So at this point, we just ask everybody to keep calling in if you have any information and let us know. And I personally, if we validate you're a legitimate call, we'll call you and talk to you. And I thank you all for showing up today.
And now, Christine and Elmore will just share a few some details of the homegoing celebration for their son.
Hello, everyone. So the homegoing celebration funeral will be held at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs. It is going to be, visitation will be 9 to 11, and then the funeral will start after that. The plan is for the wreath because, again, we want to celebrate. And he would not want us to be sitting around crying and eating. And so what we're going to do is kind of have a party to celebrate him, and that will be held at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. So we really do want to keep it for family and friends. We are going to allow media to come in as well. And lastly, absolutely teammates. We've already contacted Coach Les George because we want to make sure that those guys are there. Former teammates from high school, middle school, teams that he played against. You guys are all welcome, but of course, we want to make sure that our families for sure and close friends get there. So I do want to just say for those of you, again, if you are having protests, even the day of his service, I am asking you guys to just keep it peaceful. Nolan would never want any type of violence or anything like that. He was not that kind of person. So if you guys would, again, just be peaceful. And to the community, thank you so much. just the outpouring of love, support. We've had some local officials, Mayor Casey Vaughn from Gaucher has reached out to us. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. He has, it's almost been every day. He's been texting to check on us. Also, Jeffrey Hullum, thank you so much. He's been texting pretty much every day, receiving a lot of stories.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, Candy Girl, and I'm glad you said that. Because that was my next situation, fam. Because it's something about, you know, they family that's really confusing to me. Because one situation is, y'all know what's going on, but y'all not really saying stuff. And then on top of that, it's like her energy ain't the same, fam. My people passed, my son, my daughter, they passed away. And we still don't know. And then we talking about he had to be burned. He was burned alive or something, or any of those type of things right there. We talking about we tripping off of that? You out your mind. Not necessarily that she's so calm, but it's just the fact that her energy is not really saying, you know, my son passed away and I'm still hurt by it. I don't know if it's the money or the GoFundMe money that's making people not feel like it's the more dollars, the more tears go away, or the dollars is wiping tears away, possibly. But it's just something about, you know, how her mourning, it's not like she's mourning it. You know, and I feel you, Candy Girl. She said, I've been all over the floor screaming, kicking, going crazy. And I feel that, but I'm just saying, as the days have grown, you would still see a dense in the spirit. A person's spirit would be dense. You know, there would be just being down. You know, and just the fact that you're constantly thinking about your son or your daughter who's passed, that would really raise the levels of, even though you're talking and you're in front of the press, there's still a presence that lies upon you when you lose your mother, daddy, brother, sister, son, daughter, niece, nephew, auntie, grandma, grandfather, depending on how your relationship is with them. You get what I'm saying, fam? And I'm just so confused now with the parents and the energy that they present, or the response energy that they're giving in these public interviews. Because I just don't see, I see a level of calmness, I see a level of rest. I see, it looks like you can almost see a level of closure in the way that she is responding, or the way that her body language, her personality, just her whole energy and how she's given to the camera. It's not as if she's still, like she's over it almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's over it, but they want to know what happened. It's like she's over it, but I want to know the details of how we got here. It's like she's over it, but at the same time, we are here because we getting certain money, or we getting money. And it's like we have to either still due process. You know, it's like, that's what I mean. It's still like due process. It's like the amazing and whatever, or the energy or whatever that needed to be whatever is out the way. Because now it's like the due process of just the process of them just going about this is the situation that's kind of throwing me for a loop. Because moms, like I could see if dad was like that, but like mom is supposed to be the one probably still crying, probably still don't want to be talked to, probably still stuck about her son being, at this point, burned and unalive. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Because it's so hard to have the black community, or the community period. It takes so much time to have a community behind you, and then you get the community behind you, and then it seems like you're over it. And it's like we got more energy for the situation than does the parents, because it's like they over it at this point. And again, if you're a mother that lost a child, whether that's a son or daughter, it's like she's already grieved, or she's not even grieving. Because even when they was at home and they was doing this interview with the griot lady off GRIO, that channel, the laughter, the smiles, the way she was engaging in conversation, as if she forgot her role. You understand what I'm saying? It's like she either forgot her role or something she didn't forgot to play. Because ain't no way you doing any of that and you all are discussing your child's death to the world. So that's the confusion for me. I want to know the confusion for you. Because shout out to Ms. Lowdown, because Ms. Lowdown ain't having it, bro. Like, something's not right.
And let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. I don't want you all to think 1 minute that I am bullying these people or anything, okay? That I'm laughing at the matter about putting this picture up. The mother just got on national TV, y'all, and said they about to throw a party, y'all. The mama just said this. This is her own words, not mine, okay? So that's why I put the picture up. Not no, jabs at anything, because this is serious.
And see, now that's giving me Clive Davis vibes. And see, I see why she put in her heading, Ms. Lowdown. Shout out to you. This Deala T with no filters. I've been supporting you for a while. Shout out to you. Keep going. Ms. Lowdown put in the description, Nolan's mama, Christine, is talking about a party before he's even had the funeral. Okay, so now this giving me Clive Davis vibes with Whitney Houston. Press 1 if you ever heard about that. Clive Davis, Whitney Houston, Ray J, the passing of Whitney Houston, how she didn't go to the hospital. They left her in the tub, dead, pretty much. And here you got them having a whole party on like the next floor up. Just partying for like hours. And that is a celebration of a sacrifice when you in a demonic world. Let's get that again. Let me say that again for the people in the back. When you in a demonic world and you worship or celebrate or praise death, that's a demonic ritual. You understand what I'm saying? When you're praising death, okay? So now that's what this kind of gives me, this thing about saying, hey, Nolan wouldn't want us. And a lot of people always say that at funerals, how, hey, my uncle such and such was crazy. He'll never want us sitting around crying and stuff. He would want us to kick it, smoke, drink, eat, celebrate a home going. See, it's a difference when we're talking about celebrating a home going than you on national television in every interview, not really showing your remorse or not really showing that you even still are mourning for your son, knowing you have no answers, but yet you're still mourning, and you're talking about how Nolan would want this or how Nolan would want that. I understand, but at the same time, this ain't us saying we celebrating his home going. This is you saying that Nolan would want you all to have a party in his passing. Make that make sense for a second, fam. See, the celebration of a home going at a funeral and then the repast is pretty much how that goes. It's a difference when somebody passes away. Everybody comes over to the house to grieve. But in our grieving, we still smoke, drink, eat. Even in our grieving, we still smoke, drink, listen to music, and eat. Those are 4 things we do. You understand? These are the things we do. So to know that those are the things we do when these things happen, even in our passing, like I told you, how black people, how we have found fashion, how we have found style in the struggle, how we have found beauty in the struggle. So when we have a passing, we still smoke, we still drink, we still eat, we still listen to music. But we don't do this celebration in a celebration way. No, this is we're crying and we're mourning and we are holding each other together. So hit this blunt, hit this drink, go get a plate that Auntie such and such made, and go get turn that song on so we can soothe our minds and our bodies and our souls. So here we is looking at this situation like, why is his mama talking about having a party, like a real party? And this just kind of gives off difference when we're talking about celebrating a sacrifice, or are we really celebrating a homegoing? Hit that like button, double tap that screen. We trying to figure it out. Let's go.
To me, and I keep telling y'all everything is coded. I keep telling y'all this. It's just like that other case. They wanted that daddy to stay quiet until that case was over. They can't keep her quiet. They can't keep her quiet. And I don't know why in the world do they keep throwing cameras in her face if they care about her so much. If they think she's about to have a breakdown or whatever, that's why she keep on laughing and giggling. That's what people are saying. Then why in the world would they keep throwing the camera in her face if that's the case? Y'all, let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my day 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you all and welcome. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, so everything is alleged, some is not, and the fair accuracy is in my description box, y'all. So, let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. Y'all, there's a lot of people get mad. I don't know why they get mad, because somebody pointing out the truth. Is this why they getting mad? Y'all, people is strange. They really are. You have to look at things from every angle. And people are literally getting mad right now when somebody is really doing some trying to figure out what's going on, trying to figure out why somebody keep posting these things and how would they know this much information about these people like that, or is this, about promotion? Because this reminds me somewhat of No 3's case too. The fact that somebody is posting boat repairs information, I'm just saying, is they franchising and who is they franchising for? If they are, you know what I'm saying? Who's posting this stuff, and who stands to benefit from it? You're posting information saying that the Wells family found out how to repair boats in a much cheaper way. Who stood to gain about that information coming out? Is this, I'm just saying, it's the franchise. I'm trying to sell you something. Promote their businesses. You know what I'm saying? And which one is it? Just like I said, was this a hit? We have Nolan, who is gone right now. And somebody is posting saying that they came up with a business. Is this person trolling? Or is this the actual truth, y'all? What is really going on here? It's one thing for the moment they can't stop giggling and laughing. And everybody's like, oh, is when she reminiscing. When they're not even reminiscing, talking about him when he was younger. It's like they got to not put the mic in front of her if they don't want her to laugh, because she can't help it. She can't help every time she opens her mouth, she's giggling and laughing.
And I'm like,
you can't make this up. I don't know what to say. Let me let y'all hear this.
We want to celebrate him, and he would not want us to be sitting around.
And she makes them so uncomfortable, the people that's around her. She makes them uncomfortable. Look how the people is looking at her that's standing next to her. And the lawyer feel like, oh my God, she gonna mess this up if she keep talking. And somebody came in my comment section on the last video and they said, do you notice how her and what's her name, Kamala Harris is in the same sorority? And both of them giggle like that. And I didn't pay that no attention. I sure didn't pay that no attention. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. But yeah, Kamala Harris couldn't stop giggling too. They're probably friends. I'm just saying, y'all. Probably friends. They both giggle, can't stop laughing. Even if this is a serious matter, and she can't stop laughing. Your son is gone. People are trying to find out what happened to him. And you can't stop laughing. And she looked like she was wasted. Before they put her in front of that mic, she was standing there and she was looking like somebody been talking to her. Y'all, I don't want y'all to think that I'm picking on her. But y'all let me know in the comment section, do you all feel like somebody been talking to her, or she's been listening to people saying, questioning why she keeps smiling and laughing? She was trying to keep a straight face. It's like she was trying so hard, you can see it. She was trying to keep a straight face. Then when she turned her head and tilted it a little bit, she was looking like her eyes was like, doing some weird stuff. And y'all, she looked like she was wasted. And then as soon as she got in front of the mic, she just lit up. When somebody close to her said that, in a circle, when they said this, that she likes attention, it looks like that, y'all. When everybody else was talking, she was looking like she was zooted out. And then they put her in front of that mic, and she just lit up and just got to giggling and laughing again. Y'all, I don't know. I've never seen this in my life. No, not to this extreme, y'all. They're just giggling, laughing, and everybody's getting mad because you saying something about it. And she might be on the verge of a breakdown. Well, why in the HELL do they keep putting the mic in front of her face? Why ain't they letting her spend some time with her children, other children? Why is she in front of everybody 24/7 when she ain't with Ben Crump and doing these little promotions, whatever y'all want to call it, okay? That's exactly what it is like it is. When she ain't doing this, she is, sitting in front of her computer in the middle of interviews. Or, if that ain't going on, she is online doing messages, talking about the GoFundMe, and it just seems like you got a lot of time on your hand, girl. You really do, and you should be mourning. You should be mourning. It just looks as if she is doing everything. And then they say she's saying in the meetings and the interviews that she has other children to see to. But what time are you saying to them? I'm just saying, y'all, she's in front of the camera 24/7 now. They're supposed to be planning a funeral and all of that stuff. She did give out that information too, that the funeral is coming up as well. They also said that the evidence is about to be presented to the grand jury. The grand jury about to look over it and see if there's enough evidence, I guess, to make an arrest or whatever. But to me, everybody's getting the runaround right now. One saying this, one saying that. Somebody did come in my comment section and they were saying that the friend didn't say, that wasn't him. He said that it wasn't that. The sound was far. I don't know. I looked at the video before and it looked as if he said that wasn't him, but this is what somebody else wanted to come in the comment section and tell me. You always got somebody who want to just nitpick at everything you're saying so they can try to correct you. I don't mind being corrected, but when that just this is what you just also here for. You're not really here for the message. You're just trying to nit. I ain't tripping, but I kind of got sad asking people like that because, I saw it too. I saw what the friend said, and the friend was saying as if that was not him. That's what I got from it, and I haven't went back to just double check it, but that's what I got from it. Okay, y'all. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now I am finding out something else, that she is mixed with black. I'm getting more information out about that there's a father or somebody in there that is black. So she does have that heritage, but just because she has that heritage, that don't mean that she, from my understanding, the Black History Month is going to come, and she does not celebrate that part. She only celebrates the Asian part, so that's still spring values, y'all. I'm just saying that she, at her doctor's office, people be celebrating their heritage and this. She's not accepting that part. I didn't see any pictures about her African American heritage. Black History Month rolled past at her job, and Juneteenth and all of that, and she's not posting her picture up. I'm just saying, y'all. So if she is, I ain't seeing her representing it. Because every time the Asian month and all of that island and stuff come up, that's when she represents. Okay, y'all? It's okay to represent them both if you got that heritage too, I'm just saying.
Well, let me say this real quick, fam, because hit that like button, double tap your screen, because we got to understand, we don't know how we all cope, okay? We all cope a different way. We all mourn a different way. We all handle situations just a different way. You know, and that way is whatever's comfortable for you. Some people ignore it. Some people try to get through it to keep going. Some people cry all day until it's done, until they got no more tears. And then some people cry and drink. And then some people drink their life away and then they cry later. Some people drink while they crying. The point I'm making is, fam, I'm trying to get this lady benefit of the doubt of understanding how she handles her son not being alive in the public eye as if she has to cry all the time. No, she don't. We're not looking for that. Okay? Because if she's actually drinking and she's by far drunk or by far just at that level, she may be drinking to cope with the situation. She may be drinking to be numb, to know that she has to continuously and always keep talking about her son, knowing that the funeral is coming. She don't know nothing, might know a little something. She might have information that she has to hold on to until a certain time to let us know. That could be eating her alive. But the point I'm saying is if she's drinking and then when she gets on camera, she's kind of numb to the fact, or she gets on camera and she's not giving the actions that we expect her to give if we was in this situation. You know, that's hard to say, but at the same time, there is still some type of level of some sympathy of dense or down or just hurt or just low that you're feeling, and it's gonna project through the screen. There's no fight for that. You understand? So I think I'm saying this to say that we have to give her a pass if she's drinking like that. Because if she's drinking and she's getting up to this podium because she has to numb all of the BS and everything she continues to hear so much and so often of, I think that's valid. You know, and we gotta say that that's valid. You know, because again, it's ways that we handle what we handle in the way that we do it, so we can cope with it. But I had to play this because Miss Lowdown was really showing some things that I didn't really pay attention to, that I was questioning, but I didn't really put too much on it, but I was questioning it hard. Let's go.
Was likely more than many people expected, including those who were with him that day and officials involved in the investigation. But if this case has shown us anything, it's that many people are no longer willing to accept that quick dismissal of unanswered questions when a young Black person dies. People are demanding a thorough, transparent investigation before conclusions are reached, and they believe every lead deserves to be examined. With that said, there have been several interviews released in recent days featuring people who knew Nolan, including friends and coaches. One thing that has stood out to many viewers is that these individuals have consistently expressed the belief that race did not play a major role in what happened.
No, I don't think there was no racial intention at the school, you know, from my experience. You have, predominantly white school, you have Black kids there, and they all, played and grew up together and got along. And, some stuff might have happened that I didn't see. So, I can't speak wholeheartedly on it, but from what I did see, it was a tight-knit community, you know what I mean?
Do you think, having been there on the island with this large group of people, that race plays a factor in whatever happened here?
I don't want to answer that question. I wouldn't say I wouldn't want to answer that question. I mean, obviously we go to Springs, we're gonna have white friends, so that's I mean, I guess it's pretty normal down here, but.
Even this man, Tracy Shepard, who claims to be Nolan's best friend, says that he is upset by the suggestion from Crump that race may have played a role in Wells's death.
I just know I lost my best friend.
So first of all, we don't know Tristan. We've never met him. So to say, best friend, childhood friend, that's a bit of a stretch. We've never met him. He's never been to our home.
The people being interviewed look nothing like the people who were reportedly on the boat with Nolan during his final hours.
Right.
The very people whose parents have publicly stated that their son last saw Nolan at 3:00 p.m. You
Right.
remember the judge? While the birth mother of that same boy publicly stated that her son last saw Nolan at 5:00 p.m. None of these people are being interviewed. Instead, we're hearing from someone claiming to be Nolan's best friend, but not the friends who were reportedly on the boat with him. We're hearing from an assistant coach, but not the head coach.
Right.
So let me get this straight. They put another black person in front of us to speak, which is the assistant coach at Nolan's high school that he graduated from. Mind you, this is Jake, the head coach. Why are we not hearing from him? Mind you, by his own admission, it is a majority white school.
No, I don't think there was no racial intention at the school, from my experience. Some stuff might have happened that I didn't see. So, I can't speak wholeheartedly on it. But
Then no shade, my brother, but why are you speaking to us if you can't speak on it?
Right.
You know who should be able to speak on it?
Stupid ass dude. Another stupid ass.
Jacob. He should be able to tell us. And it's interesting because in any school district, in the employee handbook, it tells you that you have to get permission before speaking to the media. So explain to us why you gave permission to the one black person to get in front of us and tell us that he does not believe that there's any racial tension in y'all school.
On top of all of that, we continue to hear that the investigation is ongoing. Yet, according to Nolan's mother, Miss Christine, she hasn't heard from investigators since the day after her son's body was found, and she was the one that made that call.
Have you been hearing anything from investigators?
No, the last time I spoke with an investigator, it was Major Smith, and I had reached out to him via text message. That was last Tuesday. Other than that, I have not spoken with anyone.
Now, a major update in this case today is that the Jackson County District Attorney, Angel Myers McIlrath, has confirmed that she will be meeting with Nolan Wells' family today. She also stated that once the Jackson County Sheriff's Department completes its investigation into Nolan's death, the case will be presented to a grand jury. According to the district attorney, this is standard procedure in Jackson County for deaths that are not considered natural. Another significant development is the FBI's involvement in the investigation. The FBI is now assisting the Jackson County Sheriff's Department because Horn Island falls under federal jurisdiction. According to investigators, FBI agents are helping with the forensic examination of the digital evidence that has been collected throughout the investigation. Sheriff John Ledbetter also provides an update on the scope of the investigation, revealing that investigators have interviewed approximately 60 witnesses so far. He emphasizes that the investigation remains both active and ongoing. Among those interviewed exclusively are the 3 friends who accompanied Nolan to Horn Island on July 4th. Investigators continue to review witness statements alongside digital evidence as they work to reconstruct the events leading up to Nolan's death. The district attorney reiterated that the case is being treated as a priority. Now, authorities say the investigation has been complicated by the island's remote location with limited cell phone service and no surveillance cameras. Ledbetter also acknowledged the widespread rumors surrounding the case, including claims alcohol or drugs may have played a role. Now, I want to speak to you for a brief moment about speculation. Questions over alcohol consumption have circulated since Nolan's friend, Tracy Shepard, said that the group had spent the holidays swimming and drinking. Well, we were all just having fun all day, Shepard told Good Morning America. And then as the day went on, people started to drink more and people started getting more drunk. But Brain Trasher, vice president and spokesperson for the United Cajun Navy, which helped search for Nolan, cast doubt on claims the teen himself had been drinking to excess. My understanding is that even though there was pictures of the boys drinking beer and stuff, Nolan's blood alcohol level was not at an intoxicated level, Trasher told people.
Autopsy results are still pending. Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lynn Jr. says the coroner's office is waiting for the toxicology report to be returned to the state medical examiner's office before the full autopsy report can be completed.
See, let me say this. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, man. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Let me tell you what's happening for real. See, they put all these black people in front of all us blacks so they can calm us down. So you got to understand they scared. So they got to put all these black people out here to do all these narratives to try to calm things down or calm us down so we don't feel like, hey, well, you know, these 3 white boys beat up this black boy and killed him. Duh. So you putting as many black people as possible in front of us. You got as many black people coming out saying anything. And now it's a situation where don't nobody care about black people talking. I please pray that y'all like this video and hype it up so this can get back to the parents and the people. No one cares about any black people talking for Nolan Wells. We do not care. All we want to hear from are the white boys that were there, Wyatt, who held his phone, Warren, who was there and said he last didn't walk in and made the call to the Coast Guard, to the mama, and to the sheriff's office. That's what Warren said. And we want to hear from Evan. The fact that they said y'all had a party and he got beat up, but Evan then jumped in. And then I want to know also from Andrew. What was your role? Was you just sit back and watch everybody do what they do and the way they did it? So the point I'm trying to tell you is that they may have drugged him. Shout out to you, Candy Girl Pink, because I was already with you. They may have drugged this man. Did some things to him and put him down and then burned his body and act like you didn't know nothing, and then y'all went right back to doing nothing while the mother and them searched for his phone. So you gotta understand something, man. We not hearing from no white people because they all got lawyers. They already lawyered up. They already got lawyers. So they have already been urged to say nothing. Even the fact that Wyatt should be locked up right now. Let's keep it 100. Wyatt should be locked up right now. And this is ridiculous, man. The police should get the shit slapped out of them down there in Mississippi right now for lying. For lying, lacking, and not even doing their job at all. And then the judge, the stepmother that's the judge. Clearly she's made every call in the book to make this thing do what it's doing now. Let's make it make sense, man. Make it make sense, man. Ain't no way. She done said everything else but ain't said nothing publicly, but you said something about Facebook accounts being gone. You put up a Twitter situation, then you took down your Facebook account. Think about it, man. You took down your Facebook account before anybody started talking shit to you. So that's how I know you got something to do with him passing, because you lied. You lied and said you took down your Facebook account because people was threatening you and you got other kids. Stupid. You took down your account before this even came out. Stupid judge. You took down your dumbass account before it came out. You getting locked up. Let's keep it 100. Wyatt, you getting locked up. Warren, you getting locked up too. Andrew, you was there? You getting locked up too. Evan, you helped with the body? You getting locked up too. What we talking about? The deputy, the police that's acting like he don't know nothing, but you walking around this thing talking about everybody was productive and now you working with the FBI. When we find out that you had something to do with it too, you getting locked up. What we talking about, dog? Because at the end of the day, all this information they holding on to, all of this alleged. Let me tell you why the judge gonna end up getting locked up first. The judge, she literally broke the law the moment she found out what happened with Nolan. She broke the law right there. She found out what happened and didn't tell nobody. She found out what happened and erased her Facebook page. So right there, she broke the law right there. Right there, that's obstruction. Right there. They cleaned the boat at her house. Right there, you're involved. Right there. And then on top of that, the good part about her being involved, right? When she found out the situation happened, she didn't contact authorities. The mother didn't. Are you getting the point here? The judge did not contact authorities. Think about this. This man passed away. He's gone. And they watching TV the next day in the house in the dark while it's almost 40 people at the house. So something happened. You got 40 people at the house. Wyatt has his phone sitting in his car acting like he don't know where his phone is. They got to call another girl just for the girl to say Wyatt know where it's at. Wyatt had his phone in the car. It's on his Xbox. Shut the hell up, AMYH 2020. Because you sound stupid thinking that ain't the case. The judge knew about it. What are we talking about? The judge, they're caught cleaning the boat at the judge's house. What are you talking about? Why would they be cleaning a boat in the middle of the night at the judge's house, stupid ass? What are you talking about? Don't come in here talking stupid, please don't. So we got to make it make more sense than what they making it look like, because right now there is no sense being made whatsoever. So we got to make sense of things ourselves. See, we can't be naive. We can't be naive. We can't be naive. We got to be real. The judge knew about it. Evan's mama knew about it. The deputy even knew about it. And then on top of that, you got to understand something. They got lawyers the time that, think about it, man. Didn't nobody even prosecute them. Didn't nobody even threaten them. And they got lawyers before this thing even happened. So clearly they did something to Nolan. And then the next day they called the lawyers. The lawyer said, don't say nothing. Because right now, there should be, all of them kids should be locked up. Okay? Questioned thoroughly. They should be locked up and questioned thoroughly. And I think right now, somebody in the system is giving the judge a head start to get their lawyers, to get their case together, so when it comes out that all of them were involved and this is what's going on and they about to be prosecuted, they will be well prepared to fight this fight. That is what I believe. I believe they have a head start. They have a lawyer. They're telling them to say nothing. And as things come out, they are continuing to prepare their case to defend. That's what I'm telling you, fam. That's what's going on. Because ain't no way these are your friends and your friends ain't even saying nothing about what happened. Ain't no way these are your friends and your friends didn't even look for you. They watching a movie the next day in the living room with everybody else kicking it. What are you talking about? Yes, they had something to do with it, and yes, their parents and their peoples are informing them to not say nothing and what to do. Yes. Because at this point, they can put out, and then think about this, all of their friends are supporting them because they're giving us false narratives. So if they saying, hey, put out all these narratives, and that's basically giving them time to prepare their defense. Make it make sense, fam. They are given time right now to prepare their defense with their lawyers. That's why they're not talking. If they didn't have a lawyer, they would have been talking by now. If it was like that and they didn't have nothing to do with nothing, they would have said something. They would be talking. And they ain't even got to say nothing smart. They can just say anything. They can just come out and say, hey, we love Nolan, he was this. But you know where they tripped? They tripped when they said that Nolan was our best friend. This was before they even found out. This is before we even finding out what happened, what really happened. We just hearing rumors. So they had already told on themselves when they said he was our best friend, like they knew he was already unalive. See what I'm saying? Stupid ass white people. And not all white people stupid, but them stupid ass white people stupid. Because now they got an answer for that. And then you got to understand something. Ben Crump, he's not saying everything that they have in their pocket right now. So there are going to be some things that's going to present themselves to a grand jury. Because a grand jury, a real non-biased grand jury, is going to look at this situation and say, hey, all the parties that were involved are all finna see 20 years to life. What that look like, Wyatt? Wyatt get that call that he finna get 20 years to life? What? Now he over there crying big bad crying. Mama, daddy crying, everybody crying. Cause Wyatt, Warren, they all finna go down, man, I'm telling you. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, might not be next week. But they all gonna go down, trust. They all gonna go down. Somebody gonna see the inside of that jail cell. And if not one, multiple people. Because all those that lied and all of those that held in contempt and everybody that was seen to be an accessory, all of them are held in obstruction. Shout out to Jaquel in the building. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, become a member today. You hear me? They all are going to be prosecuted for this, fam. They all going to have to answer to this. And then on top of that, trip off this. The fact that they talked about Wyatt starting a fight with him. The fact that they talking about Wyatt held on to his phone. The fact that they talking about Wyatt lied about where his phone was. The fact that Wyatt even had the phone and it took him 15, 20 minutes just to get the phone up to the mother of the friend that came and got the phone for Nolan. Make it make sense. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, fam. This is really real.
The coroner says the toxicology report is being expedited and that he hopes it comes in this week. As the investigation continues, questions remain about the events leading up to Nolan Wells' death and whether additional evidence could help provide answers for his family.
And as we wait for the autopsy and toxicology reports, we do have more information on what actually happened July 4th on Horn Island. This is an interview by Laura Coates from CNN.
I mean, Javon, I want to come to you because you're his friend. You were on the island on the 4th. You were on a different boat. Do you recall seeing him at all that day?
Now look at her.
Yes, ma'am. I did see him when I was up there on the island.
Can you tell me what you saw? Is anything seem strange to you about the difference that people are saying of how he was separated from the group?
And then this is another thing I want y'all to pay attention to that's kind of got me questioning this situation. In every public interview, I'm paying attention to some little things, right? Duality. You're talking about duality, white, black, yin yang. It's something about how they all wearing black. It's like these two did a public interview and they both got on black. If you look at the parents, when they did their public interview, they got on all black. This public interview they just did right now, they got on all black. I want to know what is up with that. Because something about that ain't right. Who y'all with? What's going on? Why we wearing that? Why we not wearing regular stuff? Why y'all matching and shit? Black shirt, black shirt. And then he just said something. And the mama just kind of tapped him like, don't talk too much, like, hold up. And this is the lady that says she went and got the phone when the phone was told to them that the phone was at his house. But they said that the daddy went to the house and got the phone and he had to go inside. They said that the daddy went in to get the phone and that he had to tell Wyatt such and such this and that to press him just to get the phone. But this lady is about to tell you that she went over to the house, and that she went inside the house, and that she had to press them a little bit, and that she seen all of these people there, and that it took them 15 minutes after pressing them just to get the phone. So that contradiction and confliction in her story and the daddy story really threw me off. Candy Girl Pink says political Masonic signs. Right, and that's the thing that I was feeling too, because when I seen this black like that, I was like, okay, now we got Masons involved with this. Okay, so that means something deeper was done here.
No, ma'am. I don't think that Nolan would say, hey, bro, I'm staying with this girl on the island. Y'all go ahead and go back without even bringing it, like not even asking to get his phone back. You know what I mean? I don't think that he's that.
What makes you so sure about that? Because I mean, I think you've been with him, you spent a lot of time with him. Did you know him to be someone to leave his phone or even say, you guys go without me?
Never. I've never known Nolan to stay back while his friends leave. He's always been a guy where if you roll with you, he's going to come back with him. That's always how he's been every single time.
You know, this friend of his, Trayston, also told the ABC that that video people have been talking about that was said to show some sort of altercation, it did not involve Nolan. He said it was actually him yelling in the video and that you and a family member were holding him back because he'd been in a fight. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am. We were calming Trayston down. In that video where he said, give me my effing phone back, it sounds like him. So I'm pretty sure that he was right on that. But
Javon, I'm so sorry to think about what you must be going through and thinking about what's happened to Nolan. I mean, you mentioned the phone. Tashima, a huge question so many people have is why he would have left his cell phone behind. And you say you were the person who actually went and retrieved that phone for the family. How'd you get your hands on the phone? Where was it?
That is correct. Christine called me and told me, hey, where are the boys? Nolan hasn't been heard from since such and such time. Where are your boys? I said, well, Javon is with his girlfriend, and I just spoke with Jalen, and they are headed to downtown, which I was literally getting ready to get in the shower to go downtown as well. She said, well, Nolan hasn't. So I instantly called with Christine on the phone, Javon. Javon said no, he hadn't seen Nolan since early on the island. And he was like, what? Are y'all serious? He was like, yes. And so Christine intervened in the conversation and said, Nolan has not been heard from since he left the island. So Javon was like, well, that's when I seen it. I haven't seen it since then. Again, everybody goes their separate ways. So I then hang up from Javon because obviously there's nothing he can say to tell me anything. So then Jalen, I call him. Jalen did not answer the phone. Christine again is on the phone. Jalen did not answer the phone. LeBaron, I called, he didn't answer the phone, I called LeBaron, which is their other friend, LeBaron Bromfield. He said, Jalen is in the gas station. Hold on. So he said, hey, Jalen, Mom on the phone. So he was like, Jalen, what's up, Mom? What's going on? I was like, hey, have y'all heard from Nolan? They said no. We have not heard from Nolan.
But where was the phone?
So I was like, well, okay, so that's when we started checking the phone. Well, for Christine, it said one place, but for them on Snapchat, it showed another place. So that's the place we went to. And it showed that everybody that was in the house, it was like a lot of people there. Like it was, I'm not familiar with all the kids. I only know like one from there. But it showed that the phone was at what a lot of people were at. So that's how we knew where to go to. We went there, they were all there. They were sitting there, lights off, watching TV.
Did they immediately give you the phone? Because knowing that phone was there.
It took about 15. They gave me the phone, but it took about 15 minutes to get the phone. Because I even asked them, like, did y'all have to walk back to Horn Island to get the phone? Or, like, where's the phone? Because it took so long when they said it was, when Wyatt told me it was in his truck, it took him so long to get the phone back to me.
So when they brought the phone back, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kashima, I wanna hear that.
When they brought the phone, when I said something about it, he was like, well, she's gonna get out, who's gonna get it? He's like, the girl's gonna get the phone.
So let's think about something here. After a day at the beach celebrating the 4th of July, Nolan decides to stay behind and visit with Katie. Katie says that Nolan went back with his friends, but Nolan's friends still have Nolan's phone. Magically, after 11 o'clock p.m., Nolan's friend Warren contacted Nolan's mother because he was the one that discovered that Nolan was missing, according to Warren's birth mother. So if all of this is true, why are y'all sitting inside of the house in the dark watching TV with his phone inside of Wyatt's car? And then wonders why the family finds all of this suspicious.
So just to clarify, it was actually a ranger from the National Park Service that discovered his body and called it in. At that time, myself and another volunteer were flying a grid between Horn Island, Ship Island, and Chandelier Island. And just for any viewers that are not familiar with that, if you look at just off the coast of Mississippi going south, Ship Island would be about 10 miles to the south on the left side. Horn Island would be about the same distance south on the right side, and then Chandeliers would be like, probably 30 miles more south. So it forms like a T. So that was the grid we were searching, because that's where the wind and drift patterns we looked at were taking the current. It turns out that as we were flying back north, after about 2 hours in the air, we saw that there were boats on the beach that weren't there before. And it was a Monday morning, so we descended and circled around and noticed there were law enforcement boats. And then so we descended more and circled, and more boats were showing up, and then we could see a body on the beach that they were kind of huddled around. So that's about what we knew, that they had made the recovery. And again, later I found out that a ranger called it in, and so we returned to base. So we were first contacted through, I believe, one of our social media channels on the night of July 4th. We were also, at the time, getting tagged in a lot of posts that were starting to go up on social media about Nolan Wells being missing. Eventually, I don't remember exactly who it was that made contact, but they got in touch with our incident commander, and then they ultimately put him in touch with Nolan's mother, Christine. So we did talk with her that night. And then the next morning, I was told that somebody was going to take her out on a boat out there. I'm not sure if she ended up going, but that was my understanding. But throughout the morning, we were our executive team was kind of talking, and we were talking with some locals, just trying to see if we can get some more intel on the last sighting or anything, any kind of info we could get. And then so basically one of my volunteers from the Mississippi chapter reached out and said, hey man, I got a boat close by there, I can get in the water. And he's actually a rescue specialist, so he had a lot of skills in case he came across anything. There's another volunteer that had reached out who was actually a member of a law enforcement agency locally, but he was on his day off, but he's a drone operator. So he went with the other guy. They went on a boat, and they flew the drone. They walked around the island, canvassed it, looked for any of his signs. There was a rumor that Nolan might have had walked up to the center of the island where there's like a lagoon, but they noticed a lot of thorny brush and cactuses, and they're like, nah, there's no way he would have went here barefoot. So they got in the boat, ran a grid between the two islands, and didn't find anything. The weather kind of blew up that afternoon. This would have been on Sunday, 5 July, that we're talking about now. So when they aborted for that day, we decided that, okay, we're getting further and further away from the last sighting of Nolan, so the best thing to do is put an aircraft up. Our aircraft are based out of Belle Chase, Louisiana, but again, just to show like how awesome like our Mississippi Gulf Coast chapter is, we had another volunteer reach out and say, hey, I have a plane at Gulfport, it's a lot closer, so I went and met him, and at first light on Monday, 6 July, about 6:30 a.m. Central, we were wheels up, and like I said, we were in the air for about 2 hours before we noticed the activity on the beach. There's no evidence to suggest that he was dumped on an island and left for dead. The working theory, based on people I talked to who actually observed his body, and again, these are not medical professionals. This is not an autopsy. This is just people who are used to seeing dead bodies and got a good look at it. The working theory is that he drowned. My theory, based on the conditions that day, would have been that he got in the water for some reason, whether he was going swimming, whether he was trying to swim out to a boat. There was another story we heard that he might have been trying to get to a boat that was leaving to get their attention. Probably got caught in a rip current, which is extremely powerful. It's always strong on that part of the island, but that day, eyewitness accounts is that the rip was really strong that day. The rip probably carried him in the northwesterly direction. Even in as good a shape, and Nolan knew how to swim. He had swimming lessons when he was a child, and I think he swam on a fairly regular basis. And he was also an athlete, so he was in very good shape. But even given all those factors, I think that if he didn't know how to deal with the rip, like swimming, parallel to the beach, that kind of thing, like he might have panicked, and you can get sucked out very far, like 100 yards or more, before you even know that that you left your feet. So. Again, my theory is that he went into the water. We still don't know when or how that happened, but got pulled out by a rip, panicked, unfortunately drowned, and then washed back up. And another thing is that, like, if he had been gotten on a boat and he would have presumably got pretty far away from the island, you would think that, okay, let's just say, for example, like, let's say somebody took him out on a boat and they were going to do something bad. They were going to throw him off the boat or make him get out or whatever. Seems like they would have done it far away enough from the island where nobody would see it. If he was that far out, based on the wind and drift patterns, he would have ended up in between Horn and Ship Island and went south toward Chandelier. The fact that he washed right back up to close to where the last moment he was seen alive.
That means somebody planted his body.
Go that far out. He went out.
Right. There's somebody planted his body there.
Right back on the beach. So
thank you.
Again, that's a working theory. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a professional investigator. I'm a search and rescue guy. I've been telling people this for days. Like, I'm very good at finding your loved one that's missing. I'm not that good at telling you what happened. But I can, just based on my expertise, I can give you my opinion.
Either way it goes, we will continue investigating and following this case and keep you up to date on any new developments. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so you do not miss out on any new developments regarding this case.
Yeah, those are not free in 6 strings. That's not free in 6 strings.
And the disrespect they have for the public. It's just.
That's not case closed 6 strings. So I don't know what you talking about, brother. But case is not closed. And right now what we realize is that the case not closed. And now we're looking at this man. See, that man just said that they went looking for his body. And that his body, they went in between 3 different islands. So if they went in between 3 different islands, looking for his body, and then all of a sudden, they said his body come up because they end up looking down and seeing some boats hovering. And this is why they're out looking for his body. So these people are out looking for his body in a helicopter. They out just riding looking for his body, right? They said they don't understand how this man's body ended up on the island, but yet he was missing for 2 days. They trying to see, how did his body end up on Horn Island? If his body had already been in the water that long, his body would have drifted off to these other islands. That's what he's saying. 3 other islands. It would have drifted off, but the fact it didn't. And he's like, he don't understand how it didn't. If they saying that his body and his phone was found at the island. So this is how you know that's a lie, because his phone wasn't found at the island. It was found at Wyatt House in Wyatt's possession. Okay, so that means Wyatt has his phone. We don't know where Nolan is, and then we find out this man is unalive. Wyatt should have been locked up now. Because at the end of the day, they put his body in that island. He did not drown. They put his body there. And Wyatt has his phone. Why are we acting like we don't know who to lock up? Why are we acting like we scared of Wyatt or something. Why ain't nobody locked up Wyatt? That's why we gotta keep asking, man. Listen, man, as you look at YouTube, Twitter, whatever you looking at anything on, go into their comments and ask, why is Wyatt not locked up? We should be demanding for Wyatt to be locked up. We should be demanding for Wyatt to be held. We should be demanding that a warrant be sent out for Wyatt's. You understand? Because at the end of the day, we know Wyatt is the one. We know Wyatt is the one that held his phone and had his phone in his possession. So whether we knew about these other guys, we know one name for sure had something to do with Nolan, and that's Wyatt. So if don't nobody know nobody else, and don't nobody care about nobody else, we know that Wyatt had that man Nolan in possession. They erased snaps, chats out of his phone. Wyatt should be locked up right now. We should be yelling, Wyatt needs to be locked up. Wyatt needs to be in jail. Period. I don't care about nothing else. If they ain't got nobody else, and even if they didn't get nobody else, we know Wyatt should be locked up. Wyatt should be held with $1 million bond. Wyatt.
The district attorney and what she had to say.
Did you get that report?
No, not yet. We are working with them to say there need to be better communications with the clients and so forth. So the big things that we know, there's going to be a grand jury.
And that's another reason you know that the police department has something to do with it. This how you know they got something to do with it. Because they saying they not even giving her updates. They not giving the parents updates or nothing. So that almost make you think the parents got something to do with it. They not even getting updates. And they ain't demanding nothing. So they going all around the world talking about this. But they not demanding no updates from the police department. I would have been going to the internal affairs, or I would have been going to somebody that can police the police. Because right now we know Wyatt should be locked up. The judge should be denounced on her position as a judge, and should be full investigation on the judge. It should be a full investigation open on the judge. Period. Just alone. Okay, Wyatt needs to be locked up for holding on to that man's phone and him being possibly involved. You understand? And the other guys on that boat that's in that picture, that's with him, that claim they friends, Warren needs to be locked up. Because he lied. And again, they claim that this man was jumped and tortured. Hit that like button up at that screen. They need to be locked up.
Into the death of Nolan Wells. And number two, that we're going to have a mutual inspection of Nolan's cell phone. We just want to make sure everybody else's cell phone is also being downloaded. Thank you.
As far as when
So that was Attorney Ben Crump and the other attorneys there who work for the Crump firm. I have so much to say, and the Elmore Wonsley family. Now, you heard that family, the attorney at the end saying that to get a victim report in Mississippi or in that county, it's 72 hours. They still don't have it. So when people, so let me tell you this. I've been doing this for a long time. Since 1991, I've been in this business.
Now let me say this right quick before Don get on y'all ass. Shout out to Don Lemon, okay? when the situation happened with Mike Brown here in St. Louis, and that situation what happened with Mike Brown, where the officer unalived him for nothing, they tried to discredit Mike Brown, talking about he stole something out the store. They tried to give every reason that would equal up to a reason for a police officer to shoot this unarmed black kid that got his hands up yelling, "Don't shoot." Okay? Now, Don Lemon has been a reporter, I believe it was like CNN. He had been a reporter for like CNN for like 30, all these years, right? So Don Lemon come down to St. Louis. He got the whole team with him. I mean, he interviewing all of us. I remember doing an interview myself. I'm promoting the album, and I'm on there talking in front of Walgreens about hands up, don't shoot. My brother made the logo. Y'all need to support this situation, because at the end of the day, police brutality towards us is not okay. And Don really was down there listening to our arguments, even though he was there because of his job. You can tell that his personal passion for black kids losing their life by white officers who's heartless and that has no way of doing things the right way. So now Don has his own, okay? He's running his own situation. So he has the floor to say whatever he wants the way he can say it. And he gonna tell the truth about him being involved 30 years. So he know how this goes. So that's why I had to bring up Don Lemon, because Don, he knows what's going on with the system, so he got out. Because the system being so corrupt, he got out. And now he speaks on his own about the troubles that we deal with today.
So when people tell me some shit like, "Oh, we don't need updates, we don't need to know," and the press is like, yeah, if it wasn't for those cameras out there and those press people asking those questions, you would not have known that. And that injustice. So don't give me some bullshit about the media and all that, and this, the family deserves this, and that. We don't transparency, and they can't be updating people. It didn't cost them anything to get in front of those cameras. It doesn't cost that sheriff anything to get in front of a camera and update people. That's how things come to light.
And that's how they
Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Right.
Yes, they can investigate, and they can give updates and briefings at the same time. They're not doing it
because of the judge. Because of the judge is tied in with the officers. Let's not play these games, Dirty. I'm black. We got to read in between the lines. We've been through enough shit. The officers are not updating us because this is the judge's stepson. You understand? These people are involved. You understand? So this is why they're not doing this the right way. That's why they delaying, going about it like it's nothing. And you know what? That's going to be the death of them. That's what's going to hurt them forever. Because they're just like Carmelo Anthony's situation. He unalived Austin Metcalf, but the fact that them white folk wanted him so bad, they broke the law to get him. And now that they broke the law, he about to see an appeal. And now they're going to take down everybody that broke the law. So it don't even look like it's real justice for Austin Metcalf, because you all broke the law just for this man to see justice. When you didn't even have to. It could have been a self-defense situation. He was still going to be incarcerated, and that was real. But no, y'all want to go deep like that really was that. So that's the problem with this today. The fact that y'all being slow, ain't saying nothing, and acting like you're dragging your feet about a boy, a black boy gone by a bunch of white people. Oh man, this is a cover-up like none other. This is a protection like none other. This is a, I don't want to see this white boy get locked up, because you know, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something that they telling their kids. If Wyatt, Warren, Andrew, Evan get locked up, Wyatt new name is gonna be Wilma. Warren new name is gonna be Wendy. Ha! Evan new name is gonna be Alicia. Ha! Andrew new name gonna be Angelica. Ha! What? Stop playing. All 4 of them white boys gonna be somebody bitch. What we talking about? So I'm telling you, they're gonna do everything in their power to try to keep Wyatt, Warren, Evan, Andrew, Morgan, all of them out of jail. They're gonna try to do everything in their power. But I'm here to tell you, you can't. Because at the end of the day, y'all gonna go down or somebody else gonna go down. And the somebody else's are the parents. So trust me when I say, everybody needs to be locked up until everybody start talking. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna lock y'all ass up until I start hearing something. And depending on what I hear, may let you out. But the fact that all y'all been around this boy, you was holding on to his phone, and don't nobody know shit, but everybody got his phone, his records, everybody got the story of him being around, and don't nobody know nothing. No, dirty. Everybody needs to be locked up till somebody open up their damn mouth. And they need to be locked up, not in Mississippi. They need to lock their ass up somewhere else. Because anybody in Mississippi, I do not trust. I don't trust the precincts. I don't trust the police departments. I don't trust none. I don't even trust the DA office that they went to. I expect her to do something, but nothing. So when I tell you when I tell you all of this is more, it's almost more, it's almost more taken by, I'm more taken by the fact that something here is being covered up because of some people involved, or the reason why they had to do it. Oh no, you don't want to be to Mississippi either. I don't want to go either. But you know that Christine and the husband are connected with Obama. Now, when I heard that Christine and the husband of Nolan Wells' parents are connected with the Obamas, I really was like, oh shit. Because now we're talking about corruption. Now we're talking about corrupt. If these people know Obama, and these people dealing with this man, 2 things. 1, if they know Obama and Obama moving like that, and we know Obama not to be straight up, but be corrupt, why? Because he's a part of the elite. This would almost explain why the mother has been acting how she's been acting. Because that further lets me know, Theo in the building, what it is, Theo. That further lets me know that this was some type of sacrifice. And the only way that I'm not gonna think that is if them white boys and all of them get locked up. Because me hearing that they connected with the Obamas, or me hearing that they have any association with the Obamas, is now that I know why the mother is acting like that. Because if this was a sacrifice, if this was a sacrificial lamb for the Obamas, for their families to become more, to be something more than what they are, that would explain why this motherfucker laughing all the time while she in front of the camera. That would explain why they all wearing black. That would explain why the other mother and the son was sitting there in black, just sitting there in front of the camera, and that was their first national interview. See, this is what will explain these reasons about why everybody not moving accordingly. See, one reason I was thinking was that it was racism about why the cops was moving slow. But now that I know that the Obamas are involved, something about that don't sound right. And that's even worse because I felt that way, Theo, because I know Trayvon Martin was a sacrifice. I know he was. And this is how you know he was, is when they are praised like that by the celebrities, by the riffraff. This is how you know when they are a public sacrifice for something bigger. Because of everybody that would support that, everybody that praises it, everyone that embraced it, everybody that... See, you got to understand something. The celebrities didn't stand up for Trayvon Martin. They embraced him passing away. So you got to use your brain. You got to know what's going on. They didn't stand up for him. They embraced him being gone. You understand? It was about no justice for Trayvon Martin. They embraced Trayvon Martin being gone because of the sacrifice his dad made for him and the other bodies involved with that. So this Nolan Wells situation is starting to make me feel that way, because now we're talking about his body being burned. Now we're talking about so many different narratives of his body being burned or drowned, that it also makes it come back to a situation that if Wyatt was the fall guy for this situation, that's the difference. We got to know if Wyatt was the fall guy for this situation. That's what's important about knowing this. Was Wyatt the fall guy? Was Wyatt Warren and other people trying their best to figure out, hey, this is the way we're going to do it because of what we're connected to? And if that's the case, then these people are using their kids to be involved with situations now. And then what else was funny that I heard that everybody didn't realize? They did an autopsy, right? And what was funny was they shipped his body. Listen to me right now. This will really make me feel like this was deep. They shipped his body from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. Let me say that again for the people in the back. They shipped his body from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. When I heard that, I said, oh, Lord, this was some sacrifice level shit. Because now I'm like, what? Y'all shipped his body from Mississippi to Washington? And if that's the case, this is Washington, D.C., fam. And they tied to Obama. All of a sudden, the FBI is getting involved. And we know how crooked the FBI is. Cash Patel with Trump. Epstein files. By the way, this is a great stance about why ain't nobody said nothing about the Epstein files. And they know that. So this is another reason why I felt like this was a janky setup to keep us all from the Epstein files. Once again, a distraction. They shipped his body to Washington, D.C. for the autopsy. They didn't believe that the autopsy was going to be done correctly in Mississippi, because look at the police in Mississippi. They're not even doing their job right. So they said, hey, we want to do our own independent autopsy because we don't trust what's going on in Mississippi. So not trusting what's going on in Mississippi means they don't trust the autopsy. So Colin Kaepernick comes out of nowhere and pays for the autopsy to ship the body from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. for the autopsy. And then Ben Crump says, of course, you know that it's going to be a delay because they shut down all of the airlines to Washington, D.C. or New York. And I'm like, why? I ain't heard nothing like that. Why would they shut down all the airlines? So in my head, I'm like, oh, okay. They shipped the body to Washington, D.C. The family is connected with the Obamas. Everybody wearing black in the public eye, like the reality, Masonic level shit. The mother's laughing, don't know when to cry. She don't even know how to sell her energy. And then on top of that, they got 1,000 narratives, but the only people that's not talking is the white judge, stepmom, Warren, Wyatt, Morgan, Evan, Andrew. But yet they got black kids claiming they his best friend talking and they wasn't even there. So why do we care that they talking? They wasn't even there. Why do we care? That's the point I'm trying to tell you. Please don't let no more black people say nothing. You got a black assistant coach acting like, well, you know, if we, cause see, this is what they said. They said if we let the black people talk, they're gonna make other black people and other people think that there's no racism going on, because let the black people talk and tell you how it is. So you pick a black kid that lied and said that he was Tristan and that he was Colin's friend, Nolan's friend. Then you got his real, actual black friend who's not even taking no responsibility of thinking what could have occurred or his position with him, and how whatever narrative that came up needs to be deaded. That ain't cool. And you're telling me we tripping? Because none of you all even have real pictures of Nolan? None of you all really have a connection with Nolan? So when you got all of that coming out, that's how I knew that they was involved. And now that I know that, and the way that I know that, it's just hard to think that the parents wasn't connected. It's hard to think that political people are connected. I believe now that political Modown 84 says it's not an interesting take. It's the way it works. It's the way what works, Modown. Cause you just coming in here talking 84. What are you saying, dude? They ain't talking because people would threaten. Shut the fuck up. They not talking because they got lawyers, dumbass. That's why they not talking. They got lawyers. Lawyers saying shut up. Because anything can and will be used against you in the court of law. So let's use your brain. Mr. BMG, you shut the fuck up or get out my house. It's on you, stupid. But that's why they not talking, because anything can and will be used against you in court of law. So your lawyer's telling you to shut up. That's what the lawyers do. The lawyers tell you to shut up. We know why the FBI is involved. But even the more so for people whose eyes are really open more, there are more reasons that the FBI are involved. Because even with Charlie Kirk, the FBI got involved with that, and that was a full lie. You understand? So those are the things that you worried about when it comes to stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, with Charlie Kirk, they lied. They lied. So who trusts the FBI? Not me, not you, not nobody. When I heard the FBI was getting involved, I was like, oh, something crooked, something ain't right. And that's sad. That is sad. Because when we hear the FBI involvement, we should be happy. We should be like, okay, now they're going to get to the bottom of it. But no, I don't feel like none of that. This is a corrupt FBI, corrupt political life, corrupt Trump administration, corrupt. So you can't expect corrupt people to be okay now. You can't expect corrupt people not to be corrupt just because they're picking and choosing what situation to be corrupt on. Trump ain't acting like he not racist. You know, he feels the type of way about black people even though he rock with them. He still talk about them bad like they ain't this and that. That's why stepmom judge erased her social media because of the threats, dum-dum. Oh no, stupid. She erased her social media before any of this even came out, dum-dum. So I'm trying to get you to understand something, Modown. You can believe whatever you heard, but see, we read the headlines and we read in between the lines. That's when we find out what's really happening. So it's people like your dumb ass that sit back there and think everything she did made sense. You know they washed the boat at her house, right? No, Modown, stay right here, Modown. You know they washed the boat at the judge's house, right? No, I'm waiting on you, Modown. You know they washed the boat at the judge's house, right? Yeah. So if they washed the boat at the house, that's bad. And then think about it. We ain't even got to think to her that they washed the boat at the house. Think about it. Her stepson, stupid, is involved. And she's a judge. Do you think she's not going to do something to protect him? What? Is you dumb? See, you naive. And see, when you get naive people, that's the worst case. Because naive people run into things down the line that they already seen coming. But they so naive that they still watch themselves go through the fire. Don't be naive, dog. The judge is involved. And the judge been making calls. And the judge knows the law. So clearly she knows to tell them to shut the fuck up, don't say nothing, we calling our lawyer. You understand that, Modown? Make that make sense, Modown. Wyatt held on to Nolan's phone. Think about it. Nolan is dead. Wyatt kept his phone. Why the fuck do you think they wouldn't be involved? You got to make it make sense, fam. You sound stupid. There's no way that they're not involved, knowing everything that happened that night and everything they had to find out. And then on top of that, the judge. I got 100, I got 200. He said, I got 100 says, when this is proven to be nothing, no one of you dips will address it. Let me say something to you, William. Don't call me no dipshit dirty. Watch your mouth. You don't even know me. I will address anything that I'm wrong about. If the media puts out a narrative and we run with it and we find out we're wrong, we wrong. We need to address that and say, hey, we was wrong. We going off something we heard. But what I'm talking about right now, and what we know, is that the judge is involved because she said she had to take her page down because of threats. So we know she knows what's going on. She didn't call the police. She didn't call other judges. She didn't call no authorities. When this happened, she only took down her Facebook page. That's breaking the law. If you know somebody's tampered with something, or if you know somebody has passed away, you ought to report that. The judge did not report anything. All she did was report to Facebook and delete her page. That's breaking the law. That's called obstruction. You understand? Obstruction. That is exactly what she's going to be receiving. So other than that, there's no play to play. None of that matters. This is what happened. This is how it happens. So that's why I'm telling you, man. Yeah, she definitely had to speak. She definitely has spoken. And she definitely has Let them know what to do. She's the judge. There's nobody higher than her. A filter is something that you feel and that we have no filters. You know, a filter, but this is like no filter, feelings. So it's no filters. No filter, you know what a filter is? When you put a filter over something to not get all of it, right? It's no filters. It's no, we ain't covering up nothing. And it's spelled filter like that about feelings. No no filters. No feelings on this. We telling it like it is for what we see. You understand? So when we got no filters, oh, okay, there you go, Helen. Shout out to you, Helen. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, Helen. Become a member today. You understand why it's called no filters now, right? No feelings. We don't have no filter on none of that. Queen Shay in the building, act like we know what's going on up in here. Queen Shay, I'm going to get your email address to make sure we all tapped in and connected. But you understand what I'm saying? It's a big deal, family, because at the end of the day, the judge is the highest ruler on the land. And one of her family members are involved in a murder. She definitely has informed them of what to do and what not to do. And she has broken the law by doing nothing. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand here. So you have to understand that the judge knows the police officer. Think about it right quick. The judge knows the police. So when she finds out that her kid is involved, the first call she making is the police. Hey, listen, what's the police dude name? I gotta go look up his name again. Because think about it, man. If you're a judge and your son or daughter is involved in a murder that you're hearing about, your first move, right, your first move is going to be, okay, what can I do to protect my son? What can I do to protect my daughter? Think of, I don't care if that's your stepson, your stepdaughter, whatever. The first thing you thinking is, what can I do to protect them? Even if they called me and said, this happened, Nolan is missing, Wyatt has his phone, the last time we seen him was this, whatever. She's going to automatically say, be quiet, or come home, or let me talk to the parents, or something of that nature. Because that's the first thing she's doing is to protect her son, okay? If y'all agree with that, press 1. Because I don't want people in here acting like I'm retarded about like I'm talking like I'm tripping. Okay? If you're a judge or a police officer and you find out that your kid is involved in a homicide, a murder, a coming up missing, something, the first thing you're going to do is protect them. Am I right? Press 1 if you agree. That the first thing you're going to do is protect your child. Press 1 if you agree, man, because I really want to know. It's 88 people in here right now. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. It got to be 80 likes in here. It's 88 people in here. It should be 80 likes, man. What's up, man? Hit the like button, double tap the screen, man. Come on now. Hit the like button because you live it. I need to know that you agree with me and that we understand together that if this was your kid and you're a judge and you find out that your kid involved with something, the first thing you're going to do is protect them or try to protect them or think like, what did they do? And how can you operate their situation? I think that's what I mean in Candy Girl Pink. Because when I say protection, meaning even if they didn't do nothing, you're still thinking protect your child. I don't care what nobody says. Your first thought is thinking protect your child. Not saying that you have to break the law to do it. I'm just talking about your first thought of hearing that they have something to do or they are around something like this. First thing you're thinking is get mine. Let me get mine. Let me get mine. Because then when you get yours, now you're trying to get the real story. What really happened. And when they give you the real story, it is in that point and in that time and in that case right there that you have to make a decision. Either you're going to be the judge or you're going to be the mother. Woo! Make a decision. You're going to be the judge or you're going to be the dad. Right then and there. Because they're going to come home and tell you what really happened. And in that moment, you're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to protect them as a mother, or are you going to protect them as the judge and mother? Because you know you have a job to uphold, and that is the law. And some of this story that your child is telling you has broken the law. So tell me, Candy Girl Pink, if you agree to disagree. Candy Girl Pink said, because if someone loses their life and my child has something to do with it, then in reality, it's going to hurt. But I'm a mama words, and you have to face the music. I get what you're saying, Candy Girl Pink. That's what I'm saying. That's true. That's going to come. But I'm saying in that first initial info that you get a call, your thought first is protect my child. That's what I'm saying. Your first initial connection. You're thinking protect my child. You're not thinking the music, you know, you got to face you ain't thinking none of that. You ain't thinking none of that, fam. So I agree with you, because I'm on that same page about how are you going to have to go, how we going to have to go about this to still be able to protect you. I truly agree with you. But I'm saying your first initial act is give me mines. I got to take care of mines right quick. Hold up. Let's see what happened. And then after they tell you what happened, in that moment, you mama or you judge. And then when you become judge or mama, in those same moments, you having to figure out, did you just hurt your child or did you help your child? Because like I said, these are white boys. These are white kids. If they hurt Nolan and did it and lied, they could have came out and said what they did and lied about it. But the fact that they came out and said what they did, the public was going to give them a break. Why? Because they are white. If Andrew, Evan, Wyatt, and Warren came out and said, hey, we was with Nolan last night, we got into an argument, one thing led to another, all of a sudden such and such happened, and now he ain't here no more, we so sorry. This shouldn't have happened. It happened like this, this was that, this was this. I trust and believe that them kids would not have seen the time that they deservingly would have had to see. You understand me? So that's why I'm telling you, they digging a grave for themselves deeper because they're white and they're trying to cover this up, and then they trying to play about it. You understand? They playing games about it. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, fam. It's 90 people in here. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, fam. That ain't hard. Put your notifications on all, fam. Come on now, hit that like button, double tap that screen. So I wanted you to understand that anytime we talking like this, and anytime that we have to mention that we're saying that these kids are not going to be going down for something. Oh, they're going to be going down for something. Trust me. And the something they're going to be going down for is something they ain't going to be able to handle. But again, the mother that's the judge, she has truly operated in this. Because again, she knows the law. She knows what's coming. She knows who's going to do what. She knows. So I don't put it past her that she called the police and said what happened. And the police said, hey, listen, we got you. Don't worry about it. We're going to handle it. I'm telling you that's what happened, dog. I feel it in my bones, man. That judge got the call about her kid involved with that, and she made a call to the police, man. Told them what's up and what it ain't and what it is. And they said, we got you, don't trip, dog. They stuck together. That's why ain't no police giving up no updates. You hear me? That's why the police dude ain't giving no updates. He ain't saying shit. She ain't talked to this man till last week. He ain't giving up no updates. I don't care if he found. That's why he had to talk. He had to act like he looked like he doing his job. See, he's acting like he looked like he's doing his job. That's what you got to read in between the lines, fam. He's acting like he's looking like he's doing his job. That's why he said on public, Hey, we called in the FBI to get some help. Hey, we also had everybody call in, and now we're getting some good production. So everybody that called, we appreciate it. But he ain't said nothing about no presser, no talking to no families or nothing. He's doing stuff that he has to do to show that he's not involved. But God. Woo! Oh, but God. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Oh, but God is all up and through this. He all up and through her. Because ain't no way them folk about to get away with something like this that have been got done to the public and think for a minute that that man's death was in vain. Oh, but God. That's what I got to say about it. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, man. It's a reason why they all finna see it. They all about to go down. And them white people try to stick together. No, we ain't doing it. It's other white people that don't even feel that.
Will argue with me till they are blue in the face about how they're not racist and we don't.
You understand? Because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get you to understand is these folk know who did what. And also them folk know when this is going to come out. So when I'm telling you that they all have lawyers, ain't no way that some kids had something to do with somebody being unalive and the kids ain't going to say nothing. They are being coerced. They are being coached on what to do and what not to do. Because any kid that did something like this or seen death in the face, they wouldn't know what to do because they never did this. So how would they know to just be quiet? And if this your best friend and you concerned about him, why was y'all watching TV the next day and not out looking for him? Think about that for a minute, man. Y'all told on yourself, stupid ass. Y'all watching TV the next day. Can't none one of y'all in here, even if you racist, make up why somebody would be dead that you was involved in, and the next day y'all watching TV having a party. Because she said, don't forget, she said it was a gang of people there when they went to go retrieve the phone. And them people didn't even call and say, see, that's why Warren ain't shit. Warren, I know you heard me calling your name. Warren, you ain't shit. Because your lying ass talking about you called the Coast Guard. Then you said you called his mama. Then you said you called the sheriff office. That's how I know you lying, dummy. Ain't nobody got no sheriff number. You ain't got the sheriff number directly. You got 911. You ain't got the sheriff number directly. And if you do, that's because your stepmama. What I tell you, he said that he called the sheriff directly. That means the stepmama and the police probably doing something. Woo! You better hear me today. How that boy talking about he called the sheriff office direct. He called the sheriff directly like he called his cell phone or something. He called the Coast Guard, the mother, and the sheriff. So if you called the mother, why you ain't called her talking about y'all out there looking for him? Why you wasn't looking for him? Why ain't nobody looking for him? Y'all having a party the next day like this Whitney Houston. See, that's how I know something involved. That's how I know somebody did something. And I'm going to tell you something too. Christina's friend, the lady who went to look for the phone, she probably getting a pay cut. She probably getting a cut. Let me say that again for the people in the back. She probably getting a cut. You understand? Because at the end of the day, ain't nan one of them gonna be this calm. Ain't nobody crying, ain't nobody down, ain't nobody feeling no type of way. Some of this shit is planned. Because ain't no way, ain't nobody got no remorse. I mean, just no remorse. I mean, nothing. You ain't even gotta show no tears, homie. But you ain't got no remorse? Let's keep going to see what these white folk really feel like, because they feel all white people not racist.
In light of the Nolan Wells situation and
all the racism and evil that is going on in America, I would like to say, I am not racist. I don't walk around hating nobody. And it is impossible for black people to be racist because we are at the bottom. And I have white friends. And just because I have white friends does not mean that I won't rebuke the evil that is going on in America. And anybody that don't understand it, you just a op. But I would like to shine some light on those white people that are speaking out against racism in America. Check it out, y'all.
Black people are being lynched all around the country right now. They are being found from trees in public spaces. They're also going missing. They're also being murdered in lots of other ways as well. And I can assure you there is no debate here. No debate whatsoever. Black people do not keep themselves from trees in public. That is not a debate. That is not the world we live in. Don't even try. Now, instead of giving high-level details about all of the people and all of the situations, I recommend, honestly, just leave this video if you feel like it and go to black creators that are talking about it. They're going to have way better insight on this situation than I am. However, there are things that I can talk about as a white human being on the internet, and that's the privilege that I have when I walk into a room or I enter a situation that black people simply don't have. I can use that privilege to support the black community, and so can you. So if you look like me, let's have a conversation real quick.
Now hold up right quick. Let's be real. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, man. It's 80 people in here, man. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Double tap that screen. Just double tap the screen. It's easy. Just double tap the screen. Double tap. Easy. That's your like. Okay? This white woman is speaking facts, bro. Like, she ain't blind. She live in this same world we living in. She don't look too young, so she probably middle-aged with it. But she telling it like it is. She's saying when I walk into a store or anywhere, I don't have to worry about shit. Like black people got to worry about something. She ain't lying. She putting it out there. You got to be blind or dead not to know the difference in how black people are received than how white people are received publicly. Period. No argument.
Walk into an establishment, I am not immediately judged as somebody who is lesser than, who is going to steal, who is going to harm somebody, who is probably carrying a weapon. That doesn't typically happen, but that does happen with black people. So I have that privilege of walking into somewhere and people not immediately seeing me as a threat. And when I see somebody assuming a black person is a threat, I have the ability to physically put myself in that situation in between the two to either de-escalate it or to push that focus onto me rather than them. This can happen in a situation where a police officer is involved and that police officer is kind of being weird, kind of looking at people weird. This can happen in a situation where there are microaggressions, where there's racism, where an establishment is just like, people are following black people around the grocery store, whatever it is. There's lots of situations that pop up every single day. The second you walk outside, it'll probably happen. You have the ability to physically put yourself in that situation and to, again, either de-escalate or have the escalation moved towards you. The focus is now on you, the person who is probably not going to get harmed or go to jail or get shot dead because they decided to have a confrontation. That situation is a hard reality for black people all around the country, all around the world. White supremacy is getting worse and worse. And what I mean by that, it's already existed, it's existed for forever, but the openness of white supremacy and racism is astronomically bad right now. And if you have any heart, if you are white and you have the ability to stand up for the black community, you better fucking do it, because white supremacy is going to keep getting worse. And if it keeps getting normalized because nobody's saying anything or doing anything or redirecting things towards them where it's not a dangerous situation anymore, then black people are going to keep...
See, white people don't want to de-escalate by turning the attention towards them. Because if you can understand the level of hatred we're receiving, you ain't got enough balls to stand in front of that and take that and deflect that from me on to you. So if a police is picking on me, going crazy on me, doing all this extra curriculum towards me, and white people are seeing this, and then a white person steps in and say, hey, hold on, like try to give some of that attention towards them instead of just constantly my way, they wouldn't be able to hop in front of that, because that madness, that anger, that hate that officer is giving my black ass, a white person don't know what that feels like in front of them. So I don't know how you all would think so fast to just hop in and de-escalate that and try to take those shots. You're not built to take those shots, white people. This wasn't designed for you. I appreciate her and saying how she could come in and de-escalate it or try to get some of that tension down by putting some of the focus on her white ass. But I'm saying that would never happen, because the level of hatred and madness that this person would be giving me would not be so easily turned off. And that could actually escalate the situation more, because you got a white person trying to stand up for a black person and come against another white person. So that could even more be crazy, because you got a white person standing up for me. But all I'm saying is, you all are not built to take that level of hatred. We are. Because we've taken it and now we have a thicker layer of skin. So I say that more so to just say I appreciate her and what she's saying, and really thank her for bringing this to the light, because every day people are acting naive, as if black people are not victims, as if black people are being treated equally like whites. We're not. And we may never be treated like that. And anytime a white person loving black people like that, white people gonna disown her because she loving us or she respect us. She ain't gotta love us because she telling the truth about us. She ain't even gotta like us because she telling the truth about what's going on. But it's the fact that she's telling the truth. And that's why other white people gonna be mad at her, because she telling the truth about what black people go through. And she ain't even going through it. Think about it. She not even going through the shit we go through. And she's speaking up about it because she see it. This not hard. She see it, she understand it, they continue to do it. This is how they are, this is how life has been for us. Let's go.
Being found fucking from trees.
You see, I had to bring my friend up here to the podium just to make sure I ain't tripping, because you know, everybody don't receive the information well when it comes from certain people. So you got to get their own people to bring out the information to make them get it. You understand?
Most white folks don't have the stomach to say the truth out loud about race. I'm going to do it for you. Racism ain't a touchy subject if you're not fucking racist. If the truth makes you feel attacked, you're probably protected alive. You wouldn't trade places with a black man for $1 million. So you know exactly why.
He said you wouldn't trade places with a black man for $1 million. And you know why, nigga? Yeah. I like what he just said, boy. Because it's 75 people in here. Some of y'all white, some of you black, some of you mixed. But let's keep it a buck. When none of y'all want to trade places with no black man or no black person in this world. And you know why? Period. You wouldn't want to do it. So this is why we appreciate the victim mentality, because we are still being treated like victims, Mo Down, little stupid ass boy. That's why we victim mentality all year, because we being treated like victims. Carmelo, and he had to defend himself. They came in after him. Now you got Nolan Wells. Victim. This man possibly was burned alive, tampered with, tortured, played with his friends, and then burned alive and then dumped in the island for a body to come up. And ain't nan one of his friends sent no condolences. Ain't nobody sent no apologies. Ain't nobody pulled up to say they sorry. Ain't nobody nothing, and they claiming it's they friends. That's a lie, Mo Down. So let that go. The race war is coming along because at some point it's gonna get active. We don't want it to, but it's gonna get active hard, right? Trust me. And it's people like you or it's other people that wants it to happen but just not ready. Y'all ain't ready for no race war, bro. So please stop talking like that. Like y'all be in here talking tough, y'all be in here talking funny, but y'all ain't ready for none of that. You wouldn't be ready for no race war. You're not ready for none of this. So please stop talking ignorant, man. Talking about victim mentality, all of that. Yes, this is victim mentality because we are still victims, being treated like victims and being victimized. Okay? But let's not talk like you would really be built like that. Ain't none of y'all ready for no race war, and ain't none of y'all to trade places with no black man. Not for $1 million, trust me, okay? Because that $1 million can go tomorrow or be gone in a year, but you being a black man is the rest of your life. That's why you wouldn't trade it for $1 million. Because you can run that million out real quick, but you can't take off that black skin, brother. So that's why you'll never want to be that, or you'll never want to go through that. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. We in here, we cooking. Never forget what's going on. Let's go.
Racist. If you're staying neutral while a man gets done wrong, you're just helping the fucking bully. Saying you don't see color just means you're too scared to see the truth. If you gotta keep a man on his knees just to feel tall, you're the weakest man in the whole god.
But you see what he said? Talking about you don't see color. That ain't that what she said? She said she don't see color. So that means she janky, fam. You on some racist type stuff. Talking about you don't see color. Your son black, but you don't see color. Your son black, but all these white boys that had something to do with it, you don't see nothing. Your son black, but Wyatt is holding on to his phone and don't want to give it to you. Why didn't Wyatt, this is really what kills me, why didn't Wyatt wake up and take the phone to the mother? Why did they have to call these people to search the phone, track down the phone, look for the phone? But ain't nobody did nothing bad and ain't nobody called and said, sorry, what happened? I'm looking for Nolan. Y'all in there having a whole party with this man, car and keys and phone. Think about that. Y'all having a whole party with this man, car at your house, keys at your house, and his phone is at your house. And don't nobody know nothing? Like I said, none of you will be ready to trade places with a black person for $1 million. Why? Because that $1 million can be gone in a week. But that skin color of black will never be gone until you're gone. And that's real. As always, fam, you know the deal. You know what the level is and what it is and what it ain't. Monday through Friday right here with your boy Deala T and my fam right here at No Filters. You already know what it is, fam. I truly appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in tonight, giving me your understanding, giving me your details, giving me your content, giving me your comments, letting me know how you feel and what you think. That's real. Truly appreciate each and every one of y'all taking time out just to pull up, man. Understanding the situation, understanding what's going on and how the world is still going around regardless of who the hatred is. Truly appreciate you, each and every one of you all understanding that. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. And share this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, never please be comfortable. Get you something to eat. Get you something to drink. Get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Because you know the title, fam. You in here with your boy Deala T and my fam. And this is No Filters. Y'all be safe, family. Lock your doors. Have a good evening. God bless y'all. Tomorrow night.